Welcome back to Key Conversations, the podcast where we talk about all the things that you need to know to have a fulfilling career in the music industry. Today, we are talking to Mike Warner, who founded Work Hard, Playlist Hard, also wrote the book of the same title and the course. And he is just a good friend, but also someone that just cares about artists and their careers and utilizing the tools that we have available to us right now. Specifically right now around playlisting, or we're going to focus in playlisting. You do a lot of stuff, and I'm excited to talk to you about all those things at some point. But today we're going to focus in on Spotify playlists specifically, because that is a specific thing. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's just like old times, although we're not hanging out in person right now at a cool hotel lobby drinking wine. We're obviously distanced and we're doing this on the line, as the cool kids say.
We are. Is that what they say? Oh God, I've never said
that. I don't know. It's clear that I'm not one of the cool kids.
Well, you're way cooler than me that you even knew that was a thing. So, okay. We're going to dive right in. As anyone that's been listening this whole season knows, that season 4 of this podcast is all about my linear process and progress of releasing a record. So now that we're, a month and, couple months out from the release, I've been focusing on where can I put my record into playlisters' hands now that the music is out. It's something very hard to do before the record is released because the songs are literally not on Spotify yet. It's not like a pre-order on iTunes where they can go click and pre-order it. So tell me, and I don't think this is going to be a very long answer, but what can an artist do that's about to release some music? What can they do before the release to optimize their playlist capabilities?
Yeah, good question. I just want to say this. I know it's being said a lot on social media recently, but getting on a playlist should not be your marketing plan for your release. It's cool. It's important. It's relevant. It would be great, but it shouldn't be your plan, and it should not be the entire plan. No way, not at all. And, some people say, hey, Mike, but you're the playlist guy. I say, yeah, but there's a lot more to it than that. I just talk about what I'm good at and what I know. And I'm telling you that playlists should not be your sole focus. And there's other things that can lead to you getting on a playlist that don't necessarily revolve around sending an email out to 500 people saying, hey, hope you're well, here's my song, although that can be effective. So, if you have a release coming up, the first thing I tell an artist is you need to do some housekeeping. You need to manage your presence online before you start trying to get other people to pay attention to you. And so what that means is your artist profile. And we've mentioned Spotify at the start. So Spotify for artists, if somebody is tuned in right now and they haven't gone to artists.spotify.com, claimed their artist profile to get that little blue check and uploaded a photo and a bio, then you need to do that right now. Whatever you are doing, just stop and do it. Just request access. If you distribute your music with someone like CD Baby or DistroKid, just as examples, they can usually give you almost instant access. You just log in and bang, you're now in Spotify for artists, and you can start updating your profile. You can add links to your social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, Wikipedia, things like that. You can add your bio. You can feature a song, another artist, an album, a podcast, or a fundraising link at the top of your profile. There's just so much that you can do, and it's free. And obviously the most important one, if you have an upcoming release, is that you can get it, submit it, and have it potentially listened to for consideration by the editorial team at Spotify. Regardless of if they do add your song as a result of submitting that form, you're still tagging the song correctly so that it goes to the right ears within Spotify. You're tagging the mood, the genre, the instruments used. You're saying what city in the world that song most resonates with. You're giving all this extra information that is being attached to your song. So when it goes into Spotify, it doesn't start playing alongside, if you do piano music and more relaxing piano instrumental music, it's not going to start getting delivered to people who like heavy metal to see how they feel about it. It's going to go to the right audience from the start, in things like Discover Weekly and artist radio stations and things like that, which can then lead to playlists in the future as well.
That's
so
awesome.
I kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So there's like some admin, like dotting the I's and crossing the T's that you've got to do. This sounds like a lot, like artist profiles. And then you also want to do that on Apple Music and like all these other places, not just Spotify, but it sounds like a lot. And you know me, I love to remove overwhelm. And you also know me, if you've been listening to this enough, that I like a good linear process. And guess what? Mike has created a very quick, easy, super affordable course, a crash course. You call it crash course on artist profiles. So the cool thing is that this is super unique material, and it's so important, and it's available in the Key Academy, because I'm only putting top-notch, awesome, super valuable things in there that are quick and budget friendly and super valuable. So go to inthekey.co/academy and go look for the crash course in artist profiles and just get all this stuff handled. And you're going to be really set up to hit the ground running when that release does get released. So
thank you for the plug.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, you've created something really awesome and totally needed. I mean, it took me, I was thinking like, oh, do I want to do a podcast episode on like how to do this for all these different things? And then you just created a course. So here's the podcast episode about like all your artist profiles. Ready? Go to the Academy and go get this course. It's like kind of a no-brainer, because you can't be sharing these links if you don't have the profile picture. It's like that blank look, the little like blank logo. It looks so terrible. It's like, no. You really wanted this to best foot forward right here. And this is how to do it. You also said something really important that I think is worth mentioning, is that the thing you can do pre-release, I think is it 7 days before it's released, you are allowed to submit your upcoming release to Spotify specifically, not other outside playlists, but actual Spotify editorial playlists. So that is one thing you can do. And that's another reason why you want to give yourself a lot of time before the release. So you don't just get it uploaded and then the next day it's released, because you won't have time to submit. You need a week. So that's really valuable too. So awesome. Thank you for that. So once the record's released or the single is released or whatever music is released, there's a million different ways to go about getting on playlists, and everyone wants to know how to get on a playlist, even though we know it's not like the marketing thing, but it helps and it feels good. And it's a talking point that we can share with our fans. Like there's good reasons to get on playlists. So what are 2 or 3 things that every artist should do to, I guess I'll word it the same way, like optimize their chances of being on a playlist and pitching the right way?
Yeah, sure. So obviously we've covered having a strong profile and having that. And the reason that you have that is it's a home, it's a presence on not just Spotify, but Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, Pandora, Qobuz, Tidal, YouTube Music, the list goes on. Once you've got those in place, then you can reach out to curators on any of these platforms. Obviously Spotify is the main one that a lot of people feel everyone's focusing on. So we can talk about that, but just keep in mind, this applies to all of them. And so if you want to increase your chances, it's worth just checking to see if some of these curators also have that same playlist on Deezer or YouTube Music, because you may be surprised that they do, but people aren't sending them a Deezer and a YouTube link as well when they're sending them a track, which makes it too hard for them, and they'll move on to the next person.
Yeah.
But in the outreach, I mean, everyone is different. It's kind of like relationship management. If you've ever worked in a customer service facing role, you have to take notes about the person. You have to understand the best way to communicate with them. Do they like a phone call? Are they an email person? In this case, it's, do they prefer a DM on Twitter on a Saturday morning because they only update their playlist on a Saturday? Or do they prefer an email? Do they just want the link to the track and they don't care for a presser and a bio and photos and a WAV file attached and all of that? You can save them a lot of pain and give them just what they need. They appreciate it so much more. Let's get to the initial outreach stage, because a lot of people have never reached out to someone before. They found a playlist that was cool. They found that person on social media, or they found their email address, and they probably feel like they're the first person that's figured this out, which is not the case. There's hundreds of people that are doing it. I've had an email address at a company I worked for 4 years ago was sold in some mailing list somewhere, and they're getting smashed every day with people sending them pictures thinking that they're getting songs to me. And I think they ended up having to close that email account. So you're not the only one that has these details, but your approach will help you to stand out. So if you've never spoken with the person before, I keep it very short and very respectful. And if it's a message, it's as simple as, I found your playlist, I've listened to it, I discovered this artist on there, I make music that is similar. Do you have a submission process I can follow? And if so, what is it? And that's it. And it's a very short, it starts with a compliment, it ends with a question, and it leaves it open for them to respond really quickly and tell me exactly how they would like to receive music, or tell me to beat it. And, I haven't overwhelmed them, and I'll just say no problem and have a nice day. But majority of the people respond very positive and very quickly because it's such a short message, and they'll tell me exactly what they're looking for. So it will be, hey, you can send me tracks here. Please just send me your latest track, or please just send me your strongest track. I don't have time to listen to an album. I don't have time to listen to your entire catalog. So you send me the song that you think would be the best fit for my playlist because you've already listened. And then if you get it right, you're gonna start to gain their trust. And the next time you send them a track, they'll remember you. And if you keep sending them songs or tracks that work, then every time you send them something, you've now got their trust. It's safe to say you're going to move somewhere towards the top of that list, and you follow their process on how they like to receive music.
Yeah, I totally love that. What do you think about, we had a previous episode with the founder of Submit Hub, which makes it really easy to reach out in a way that those people are on the platform because they want to be reached out that way. So you're talking about here, if you found someone, and you're reaching out individually, what do you think about platforms like Submit Hub? Are there other resources that make finding the exact right playlisters easier for artists without sort of cutting corners? I'm a fan of working smarter, not harder, but I also am a fan of not cutting corners. So I'm curious what you think about that process.
Yeah, look, platforms like Submit Hub and Playlist Push, they're not for everyone, but they will complement whatever you do. So I always say to someone, I go, if you do go onto Submit Hub and submit to these blogs and these curators, that's great. But there's still people that aren't on Submit Hub that you can also reach out to separately. And the worst thing that happens is you get some from Submit Hub and some from your other outreach. And it's the same with a service like Playlist Push. I say you shouldn't solely rely on that. If they could deliver 100% ROI and you could spend X amount of dollars and make that money back in streams, they'd charge a hell of a lot more. So I always say, yes, they can complement what you're doing, but if you are perhaps at the stage in your career as an artist where there's not that much money coming in, it's scary to think that an artist is going to take out a loan or put it on their credit card and pay for something, whether it's $50 or $100 on Submit Hub or a little more on a service like Playlist Push. Don't do that thinking that money is going to come straight back and you can pay that loan off or that bill. You have to have money coming in already. So I always say to people, I go, look, when you're starting out, all it's going to cost you is time, as far as finding these curators, sending emails, sending DMs, following them on social media, engaging with them, and slowly building up your own list. And then ideally, you should start to see some money coming in, especially if you're an independent artist. You'll be able to see that a lot quicker as well than waiting for your next statement, perhaps. But once you see that, then it's okay. You know, if you've made $1,000 from streaming, you might decide, you know what, I'm going to spend $500 and run a campaign on the next song and see how it goes. But I'm still going to keep putting in the work to complement that. Yeah, and like that's how I've seen artists grow.
Yeah. Diversifying your portfolio is what the finance people call it, but kind of having different ways to attack the same goal, and knowing that it's a little bit of a numbers game. So if you're reaching out one-on-one, if you're reaching out through some of these platforms, then and just on the note of like other exterior resources, what do you think about directories like the Indie Bible, Spotify Bible, and things that have listed versus going out and finding one playlist that calls to you? Again, is this just another part of the whole like portfolio of different ways to find the context, or what do you think about that?
Look, I'm trying to craft this in my head the right way. So I'm not against them, but I do want people to be aware of how they use them. So if you buy a list of 10,000 curators and you add them to your MailChimp mailing list, you're going to piss them off. And
oh gosh, do not do that. That is not legal. A.
Exactly.
B, you're going to piss them off. C, you're going to piss them off. D, it's not legal. Okay, carry on.
No, and I'm glad you put that in there too. I'm sure the lawyers will be happy to hear that. But no, I've seen this happen. And what's going to happen? Yes, you piss them off, but also they're likely to hit unsubscribe immediately and then say, I did not sign up for this mailing list. And then all of your future emails will start going to the junk folder, even if they don't come through your MailChimp or whatever you use to send out your newsletters, so that any emails coming from your domain will now be considered junk or spam. So you could be missing out on opportunities when you're sending your song out to someone because it's reaching their junk. And not everyone looks at their junk. Wow, that sounded bad.
Yeah, that sounds really, your mail. They're junk mail. They're junk mail.
Junk mail.
They're
spam.
Junk mail. Okay.
Not everyone looks at their spam.
Yes, and it really, really hurts your deliverability. I mean, now you're saying the things that are speaking to my heart and soul, which is dorking out on email marketing. But yes, when you add tons of people that did not sign up and they go unsubscribe, that is telling the internet gremlins that you potentially are a spam account, which means they're going to lower the chances that your emails will get delivered to people's inboxes. So deliverability will go way down, and you have no control over that. And also the higher rate of unsubscribes on your list, if you're not cleaning your list, also affects your deliverability. So when you do want to go send an email to your fans, like a legitimate, great email, you're going to lose some opportunities there too, because you messed up your list. So so don't do that. Don't go get a directory and copy and paste all of the emails that are in your genre and then go mass email them. That is just the legwork of step one, I believe, to say, okay, cool, now let me go check out these playlists and see if I'm a good fit and listen to them and do the work that you would have done as if you were doing some one-on-one outreach. That's how I look at those. I don't know if that feels the same for you.
Exactly. And so let's say you do get this list and you work your way down and you do the research, most importantly, and you go, this person seems cool. Let's listen to their playlist. Yes, my music would be a good fit. I already have their contact details or their email. The first email, once again, very polite, short. I always say the shorter the message, the quicker the response. If you text me, I'll text you right back. If you email me with 2 pages of stuff, that's too hard. I'll get to it later. So I always, with friends, if you want to catch up, just text me the details. I'll immediately add it to my calendar and get back to you. But if you want me to read something and it's long, then sure, email it to me. But no, I won't read it for a while.
Yeah.
And so once you've done that first email and you've built some rapport, you may feel comfortable saying to them, hey, I have a mailing list where I send out new music. I release a song roughly every 8 weeks. Would it be okay if I added you? And then they can opt into your mailing list. Perfect. Then you don't have to send them necessarily a personalized email every time. And they've opted in, so it's not going into their spam or their junk. And if you're not... Yeah, exactly. Junk mail. I got to say junk mail. And, not all of us are good at composing an email, and that's why people like you are fantastic. And
yeah. What Mike's talking about is I have some templates written specifically for this sort of thing in the Perfect Pitch course, which is another very quick bite-sized little, I guess you could call it a crash course on pitching effectively. No one needs your life story. If you are solving a problem, being that you have a song that fits the playlist, then someone's going to be interested in you. They're going to be interested. But if you are like telling your life story and name dropping and doing it, like no one cares. You're not solving any problems doing that. It's like, no one's got time for that. Especially in a texting, scrolling, when you scroll through Facebook, you have less than a second to catch someone's eye with the Facebook post. Email subject lines are 3 seconds, which is actually a lot of time, but that's how long you have. None of this is long, right? So when you get into the email, someone's not going to want to spend minutes reading that. So this is great stuff. Tell me what you think is going on right now. What is, in terms of what's changing for streaming and for playlisting, that artists should sort of have their thumbs on the pulse of?
I feel like until now, everyone's been focused on look at my playlist, look at the artwork, look down at your phone screen. And I guess what I feel not enough people are focusing on is voice. And the fact that as we move forward, everyone's got a voice assistant in their speakers, in their ear, or in their computer, in their phone, in their Alexa device in their house, or their Apple HomePod, or their Google Home Mini, or whatever they have. People have spent, moving forward, I feel that people will spend less time looking down at their screen, tapping on things. It just seems so unnecessary. I want artists to start getting in the habit of saying their name and teaching people how to say their name and getting them familiar with the lyrics of their song. So to give you an idea, Amazon Music for Artists, if you get into the app, you'll see there's a tab called Voice, and it will show you how many people have spoken to Alexa and requested your name, your artist name, or a song of yours, or an album of yours, or they've actually said part of the lyrics to one of your songs and Alexa has played that song.
That blew
and
my
all of that
mind.
can happen.
You were the one that first told me about this. And so when I went and did it, I could not believe when I first logged in, it wasn't like a ton of people, but it was definitely like, I don't know, 50 or 60 people had requested. And I don't know what the time frame was, in a week or a month or all time, but like, I'm like, people are actually saying this out loud. This is so crazy. Like, it is very cool to think about that / creepy, but cool. And it's neat that you can see it now in the Amazon app for artists, which is another one of those profiles you want to be setting up and grabbing and connecting to. But yeah, it's really cool stuff. And that's a really, really interesting point, that like how can we like optimize that and make sure that we are on the forefront and available to those services?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as being on Amazon Music, that's however, if you're with a label or a distributor, whoever is pushing your music out to Spotify, Apple, everyone else, just make sure that Amazon Music is checked. That's number one. As far as the good thing about Amazon Music is people go, I don't have an account, but what they don't realize is it comes free on any Amazon smart speaker. So if you connect up, an Amazon Echo and you say, Alexa, play music from Cheryl B. Engelhardt, she'll go playing, and it'll be on shuffle because it's free, but they will start playing from Amazon Music, and that counts as one voice request. If you request a specific song and you don't have a paid account, then it will just play a radio station based on that artist or that song, but it still counts as a request. Oh. So, that you think about the amount of people that have an Alexa device, and they could simply do that for you. And how much easier is it to say, Alexa, follow Cheryl B. Engelhardt on Amazon Music versus, hey guys, swipe up here, log in with your account, go here, hit follow, do this, and people get scared and they don't want to do it, but they'll happily talk to Alexa and tell Alexa that. What they don't realize is on release day, the rings on the top of their Alexa Echo device will change color to show there's a notification. When they start talking to that device, it will say, there's a new song out by Cheryl B. Engelhardt. Would you like to hear it now? Yes. And, you know, do you want to add that to your playlist? It's just a simple voice command. So it's a lot easier to tell your fans to do that, and you can make it fun. You can have a video talking to Alexa, coaching her how to pronounce your name. I did this with my podcast one time. I did a short video just saying, Alexa, play the Streamline podcast on Spotify. And it started playing immediately. And, you know, some people said that it actually made their Alexa go off in the background, which was awesome. And other people went and tried it immediately. And it's way more fun than here's a link to click.
Yeah.
People like engaging with these devices. It's exciting for them.
That might be my newest email sequence that I write, because I write all these, I'm always updating my email course, Rock Your Email List, with templates, email templates that you can sort of just fill in your own info and send a series to your email list. So that might be my newest one, is how to talk to your list about having them say, hey, Alexa, go follow Cheryl B. Engelhardt, or hey, Alexa, go follow or listen to, or I have to look up what I don't have an Alexa, so I need to go look up what exactly those voice commands are. But that's cool.
If you don't have an Alexa device in your house, you can still download the Alexa app, and Alexa is built into the Amazon Music app. So you could always do a trial, go in there, hit the Alexa button and try it that way.
Wow.
Some other, just adding on to this, I feel like we've hijacked this and turned into Amazon Music. But what excites me that I've seen as well is that there's going to be some cool stuff revolving around merch as well as a tie-in. So you can, you know, my mind is kind of just, I think, possibilities with that. And I guess without saying too much, there's some whispers that I've heard that the more people that are requesting you from an Amazon device, the more likely you will get their attention. And there may be a way in the near future that you could, with your own voice, directly speak to your fans through their Amazon device and thank them by name for requesting your song and tell them what's playing next. I can't really say more than that, but just it's really important right now to get people requesting you on these smart devices and getting familiar with saying your name.
That is awesome. I might now go to my my mastermind group and do a daily. We meet daily, and I'm always trying to come up with like fun challenges. So maybe like next week's challenge is going to be get your fans to request your music. So what's the actual verbiage? Just tell us. Is it, hey Alexa, follow artist name?
Yeah. So it would be right now. I mean, fortunately, mine's disconnected for this reason, but it would be, Alexa, follow Cheryl B. Engelhardt on Amazon Music. Done. You know, but you can do the other thing is you can also do, Alexa, play Cheryl B. Engelhardt on Spotify. And so they still get access to all of these requests, even if it's on another streaming platform as well. So it's
blowing my mind here, Mike.
Getting crazy.
You're blowing my mind. I thought this was going to be one thing. It was that. And now it is so much more. And I'm so happy. And I'm also going to try all these things. And I have so much content I want to create right now because of this one interview. Anything else that you can say without having to kill us afterwards about anything? Because you're clearly involved with a lot of things, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful that you're taking the time to share all this stuff with us. Anything else that I've left out or that you feel like artists need to know right now?
You know what? It changes so often. It's unreal. I would just say, be ready for anything, because the pace of the way that things are changing, the way that people are accessing, requesting, consuming, listening, engaging with music and artists, it's just changing so frequently. Just be ready for anything. I mean, obviously this year has really taught us that it's, you know, it's sadly people have had live tours ready and they've been put on hold or postponed or just completely written off and cancelled. So to have, you know, multiple seeds planted ready so that if you find yourself in a position where you are at home and you're still trying to make a living from music and obviously continue creating music, if you've got a few other things going, you might find that you're in a position where you can keep this happening and keep pushing forward. And because something like this could happen again, something different could happen, something personal that only affects yourself as an artist, that could cause you not to be able to go out and travel or perform. So I think it's preparation. I think that this year has really taught us every opportunity you can to monetize your music, to make it available everywhere, to make sure your fans know how they can support you and where they can find you, and just do that research. And the other thing that is really important is, I always say, we're not competing with each other. There's room for all of us to succeed. Yep. There's no reason why there can't be 10 new age artists that are all absolutely killing it on Apple Music right now, and they're all sharing all the information they know, and they're all helping each other out. I love it when somebody calls me out with my artist profile. They go to me and go, "Hey, you wrote the book on this, but you didn't do this." And I go, "Wow, you're right. Why didn't I do that?" Okay. And then I'll go in and fix it. So, we're all helping each other. There's no competition here, especially independent artists. I mean, and different genres. I mean, you could have a hip hop artist helping a country and a rock artist, helping a blues artist, helping a 15-year-old, helping an 80-year-old. All of this information, we all need it right now. So, yeah, bring it on. Help each other.
On. Mike, I cannot thank you enough for all, this was just so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, if you want to get in a community where you can interact with tons of other artists that are just like you, ready to level up, go to inthekey.co/elite and try out this monthly, now daily mastermind that is pretty much the place where all the love bombs exist on the internet. Thank you again, Mike Warner. Go check out the show notes for all of the links to all the things we talked about, but workhardplaylisthard.com is where you want to go to find out all the things about Mike Warner. And where can we find you online? Where do you hang out? Instagram, Twitter? Where are you?
Yeah, most of my rants are on Twitter. I say rants. They're fun. I never really get upset about anything. I love following you
on Twitter. You're like the reason I'm still on Twitter, honestly. So.
Yeah, look, I don't really ever get angry or upset unless it is something that an artist has been taken advantage of or they weren't aware of. So if somebody talks about paying for placements or paying for streams, that's when you're going to see me really getting into rant mode on there. But it's just because I care. Outside of that,
what's your handle on Twitter?
Yeah, it's Ask Mike Warner, AskMikeWarner, or for the Americans, Ask Mike Warner.
Mike Warner.
I still say ask. I haven't translated yet.
Oh my God, I love it so much. All right, go follow him. Go follow Mike on Twitter, and I'm so psyched to be talking to you. Thank you again, and we will talk soon.
Thank you, Cheryl.